In episode 1 and 2 on integers, we've looked at adding and subtracting integers using a number line and then moving on to working without an actual number line. We're now going to look at multiplication and division of integers. They also work with the same rules because they're inverse operations. So we now need to look at their rules, and their rules are called the rule of signs. Signs meaning, are we dealing with a positive or a negative? So there are 4 options of what can happen. We can have a positive number being multiplied by a positive number. I'm going to speak here all about multiplication, but remember this rule of signs doesn't only apply to multiplication, it applies to division as well. So if I've got a positive times a positive, I've got a normal number that I've been working with all my life times another normal number. So if I had 5 times 4, it's like saying positive 5 times positive 4, and the answer would be positive 20. So that is nothing new to us. If we're multiplying 2 positive numbers by each other, then we've got a positive. So we could have a negative number times a negative number. So I always use the little English example of saying, I ain't got no money, or I haven't got no money. So think about what that actually means. If you haven't got no money, it's a double negative, so you actually have got some money. And that is why negative times a negative becomes a positive. That's the best way to remember it, and I'm going to give you another trick to remember it just now. Then we could have a positive times a negative. As soon as I've got a positive times a negative, my answer is going to be negative. And if I've got a negative times a positive, my answer is also going to be negative. So the best way to remember that is if you've got 2 signs being multiplied by each other that are the same, either positive times positive or negative times negative, you're going to end up with a positive answer. If the 2 signs that you've got are different, and it doesn't matter whether you're saying positive times negative or negative times positive, they're 2 different signs, then your answer is going to be negative. So let's have a look and see how this is going to apply to actual calculations. If I have negative 3 times 2, first of all, the 2 hasn't got any sign attached to it. So I must remember that if there's no sign attached to it, it's an invisible positive. We know that it's positive. So the best way to do any of these, and I'm going to lead into much more complicated ones later on, so let's get a good method going, a foolproof method, because the thing that most students do is they keep leaving out negative signs. They'll think negative and then they forget to write the negative down. So if we do this 2-thought process, you are going to alleviate that careless mistake. So we're going to say sign times sign, negative times positive, is that one. So the answer is negative, and then number times number, 3 times 2 is 6. And if you keep doing that, you can't go wrong because you're thinking of what sign to put down, and then you're also thinking of what number to put down. So just like I showed you in the adding and subtracting video, this can throw people because they're doing integers and their minds are going on to negative numbers the whole time. But what have we got here? We've actually got a positive 8 times a positive 6. So it's just a normal sum. Positive times positive is positive. 8 times 6 is 48. So don't let that put you off. Let's try one with a negative. So what if I had with a division. 14 divided by negative 2. So same rules apply for division. First I'm going to do my signs. Positive divided by negative is negative. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Easy when you just do the signs and then the numbers separately. Now there's another way of writing times. Instead of that multiplication sign, I can use a bracket. So I can say 3 bracket negative 6, which means 3 times negative 6. So I've got positive times negative is negative. 3 times 6 is 18. What about negative 5 bracket negative 8? Again, remember the negative 5 is being multiplied by the negative 8. Negative times negative is positive. If you want to write it down, you can, but a positive doesn't need to be written down. 5 times 8 is 40. I can also write division in another way. Instead of using a division sign, I can say 18 divided by negative 3. Remember that little line means division. So sign divided by sign, positive divided by negative is negative. 18 divided by 3 is 6. I can also put both numbers in their own brackets. That means exactly the same as if it's set out like that. As soon as two brackets are right next to each other, without a sign like a plus or a minus sign in between, it means multiplication. So I've got a positive times a negative is a negative. 7 times 9 is 63. I hope you're shouting all these answers out at me before I even say them, because your tables are tops. Now I've got negative 24 over negative 6. Again, remember that means division. So negative divided by negative is positive. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Let's end off with two more. We've got negative 6 times positive 5. So sometimes they will put in the positive sign, other times they won't. Remember, both of those situations mean positive. So I've got negative times positive is negative. 6 times 5 is 30. And the last one, 42 over negative 7. What does that actually mean? 42 divided by negative 7. So no sign in front of it means it's automatically positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. 42 divided by 7 is 6. And that is how easy it is to multiply and divide integers.